Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is February 16th, 2023. How the heck are ya? Let's see. If you're single, and you're listening to this, you survived in a Valentine's Day. Congratulations. Yay. Woo. Cupid didn't get you. I don't know. And you made it. Maybe this is just a little personal note for myself. I don't know. Valentine's Day, that was not a fun day for me. I was really in my bag, if you will. I was not a happy camper. That being said, it was overall a good day when I look back at it. And overall this week, we're on Thursday. We got one more day to go before we get to the weekend. But it's been good. A lot of rain today. And I gotta say, the juxtaposition of me getting older and nature just being ridiculously unruly. It rained so hard and my posture is so bad. I was walking from the parking lot to work, like, park my car, whatever. Um, I don't go in with a umbrella. I come in, hoodie up, whatever, and I'm scrunched up, head bent over, just poor posture. And I guess I was doing this so bad that I just got a crick in my neck, and I've been hurt all day since. I literally wound up starting this episode late because after working out it felt worse, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna lay down. And not to mention, and we'll do food corner right now, the pizza I ate. That's right, more pizza. I was just like, I think it just was giving me the gas, and I was like, that's right. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say gas on a podcast. I'm sorry. Um, and I was just kind of folded for a bit. So I was like, let me lay down. Let my tummy recover, and we're doing better now. But yeah, the food. I ever since the Valentine's Day at Donato's, they have the Valentine's Day pizza. And ever since I saw the commercial for that, I was like, I want Donato's. I want it. So today, I decided to treat myself again. And I got a small pepperoni pizza and a small sausage pizza. And with Donato's, they have like the thin crust. I got the famously thin crust. And I gotta say, this was a good order. I was hesitant to order from them though, because the last time I had ordered from Donato's, it literally looked like when I got my pizza, it looked like it would had like they square cut their pizza, which is something I like. It's obviously a bummer to get the inner pieces, but the crust pieces are divine. Um, they gave me my pizza. I opened it up, and it just looked like it had been like tossed around. Like it looked like it had been through the troubles. So I was really, I was really disheartened about that experience, and I was like, whatever. But let's get these pizzas. And sure enough, I had like my little 15-minute break. I had these two small pizzas in my face, and they were not small. Like, to me, those would have been mediums. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe this is just like another case of eyes bigger than stomach. But like, hey, I made it happen. My stomach rose to the challenge, and I ruined my appetite for dinner. So that's where we are now. That's where we're living right here. Uh, let's see. Let's catch up though. I I actually wanted to talk about this in the Patreon, but I just didn't. I was like piling on news, and I'm like, I just missed it, and I'm gonna talk about it. And I figured, hey, it kind of works out because I want to share my love of Rihanna on the main. I'm down to do that. So from Yahoo Sports, Rihanna explains why she ended her Super Bowl halftime show holdout in solidarity with Colin Kaepernick. So, if you're living under a rock, if you're not a sports baller, totally get it. It's fine. If you want to skip ahead, whatever. But at the same time, hold up, wait, before you do, we should be talking about Rihanna and her, breaking her 7-year hiatus and coming out and do a show for us. For us. So, I mean, first off, I don't know if it's news to you guys, but I didn't know until this week that no one gets paid for the fucking Super Bowl performances. they only more or less pay you in two things. They comp your trip, so you get tickets. I imagine you get like tickets for family or whatever. Like I don't know how close or whatever, but they dole out those tickets, and then you come and you perform, do this amazing stellar show, and that's it, right? Oh, excuse me, moi. But the number two, what you get is exposure. Which I kind of was like, are you fucking serious? But then, like, looking at what they were saying, and this isn't this article, I'm just kind of freeballing this, sorry. But, like, in terms of Dr. Dre, like, his shit up, like, his percentage of, like, views and stuff, like, went up, like, clicks, listens, like, everything gets driven up from you guys showing up and doing a performance. Which makes sense because I remember after, speaking of the Dr. Dre, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar performance, I remember watching that. This was fun. This was cool. Very interesting. And I at least remember with Kendrick Lamar, like, I listened to his shit some more. And sure enough, I remember, because I remember hearing the shit on, what was it, Monday, and then just kind of paying attention throughout the week. I was literally in my break room and just people were just blaring Rihanna. Like, just no speakers, or just like no headphones, just blaring it. And I'm like, I mean, hell yeah, disruptive, but my kind of disruption. I'm down to get antsy. But also, I've noticed that like streamers also playing more Rihanna while they're doing their thing. Like, that's on the playlist, making rotations. I'm like, yeah, I mean, sure enough, it is working for the desired effect. Now, in this article, which you can get to, I really wish I could quote it, but this is a lot of long stuff, and we got a full episode here. I'm trying not to skimp y'all. But essentially, she had initially said no to doing a halftime Super Bowl thing. She links her, situation in terms of being in solidarity with Colin Kaepernick. I'll read a little bit. Let's see. Absolutely, she says. I couldn't dare do that. For what? Who gains from that? Not my people. I just couldn't be a sellout. I couldn't be an enabler. There's things within that organization that I do not agree with at all, and I was not about to go and be of service to them in any way. Now, something I didn't know, I heard it like vaguely mentioned offhand because actually I did watch this. And I gotta say, big ups to technology, and I like that I was just able to watch this on my computer, because normally a big reason why I don't watch it unless I'm invited to a Super Bowl party is because it just seems so inconvenient to me to try to find it on like, cable TV. I don't do that anymore. I don't go on any kind of channel. So being able to just like click it online and just have it playing in the background was like, oh, cool, neat. Also, I gotta tell you, the vibes from Ohio were dark. They were dark, and not just because of the train derailment, which we are gonna get to, but I think we were just all in our bag because we didn't get to the Super Bowl again, and we had chips on our shoulders. We had like fully salsa covered chips on our shoulder. But anyway, Jay-Z. Jay-Z apparently also was kind of like a person who was boycotting, was not down, to really contribute. But then he became like, I think, a producer or something like that. Like he more or less working as a producer for the halftime show. And so then it kind of makes sense that maybe, okay, things are changing. Like maybe the vibes are going to switch up. So sure enough, it lines up where Rihanna goes, actually, even though I'm late to say yes, I do want to do it this time. I do remember the meme where it was literally like, oh yeah, you can tell Rihanna's coming back for the money because she's literally showing up to do the Super Bowl, right? Clearly it's a little different now that she has a kid, yada. But, actually it was crazy to figure out that she's pregnant again. Like she's literally doing the whole halftime show pregnant. And I guess like a quick description of, the whole event. She's on platforms that are rising up. Now, granted, she walks out, and she's just playing all bangers. Love it. Like, I loved the hits she decided to play. I also love that, like, some of them were things that she just featured on, but she's like, no, this is just gonna be my song. I fucking loved that. So she like walks on. She has like she's in all red. it's she's got like this I don't know if it's leather or if it's like it looms like an armor piece. It was so cool. Like it's all red. She's got this red jacket on. Um, I mean, she was just looking great. It was amazing. And then you just see this like pregnancy baby bump. But she's she walks out onto the field stage, whatever, and then there's like these raised platforms, and she's like up in the air, and she's just performing. Um, it was a vibe. I loved it. All hits, no misses, no features, which is always like a big staple. Usually it's like you're getting a medley, and it's like a medley with, oh my gosh, who's walking out now? Who's that? Oh my god. I remember sleeping and being, because I fell asleep during the Super Bowl. I was so bored as a kid, and I remember waking up, and this is why I hated Tom Petty for years, because it was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and they woke me out of my slumber, and I'm like, who the fuck are these old people wrecking my fucking sleep? And I hated Tom Petty for a while, and then I got into marijuana, and then I learned to fly. But Rihanna's show was great. It tore the place down. Now, granted, obviously that's a big change, though. All the same, from her saying, "Hey, I don't want to do this." Now she does say like, "Hey, it it's just a different time seeing like people like Dr. Dre, Snoop, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar. They're doing something. They're representing." And also, she says, "Hey, I'm raising a kid now, and I want to be able to tell my kid, hey, we can do this. Like, you literally have evidence of me rocking out at the Super Bowl, like people going nuts. Like, we can do this." And I thought that was really cool. Um, so yeah, just wanted to touch on that. I really feel like it was just a sweet event, and I'm like I said, I'm not gonna. I finished the Super Bowl, but I know the Chiefs won. I really don't care. But Rihanna was great, loved it. And also, even though like she's not getting paid, a little bit of speculation, I guess I can add on here. You'll notice if you did watch the Super Bowl or whatever that Apple was sponsoring it as well, and Apple did I think they said they're gonna have like a whole documentary or whatever. I don't know if it's already up. I don't have Apple TV, but essentially like doing a documentary of the whole her coming out of hiatus, yada yada yada. Also, I think she has a article up in British Vogue. It's go read that, I guess. But I'm losing my train of thought. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh damn. Oh damn. Okay. But anyway, sorry. I'm in the weeds again, and we've just gotten started. I thought this was gonna be a quick episode. No, no, no. Um, let's talk. Let's talk though about Ohio. We gotta talk about Ohio some more, and we gotta talk about trains. Um, so yeah, let's get to this. But actually, we got to talk about this title because this is a little bit of breaking news. I just picked this up today. So from USA Today, train derails in Michigan near Detroit. No evidence of exposed hazardous materials. So yeah, you know how we were talking about the whole big kerfuffle that's been going on in Ohio, which is crazy because it's like, okay, cool, it's a meme, but obviously now too, it's been super serious the whole time. Like I obviously do try to make light of it, but there's just so much going on in Ohio. But then not to mention too, you really start digging through this whole situation and you realize like this is a big corporate problem. And then also you look at it too, it's not just corporate, it's a government problem that is not going to get solved. And you can see here in the Michigan situation, kind of more proof of that. Now, granted, that like they say in the title, there was no evidence of exposed hazardous materials. It looks like there was one potential rail car that would have been an issue, but it didn't get flipped over, and they were able to remove it quickly. So that's good. Also, no injuries. This took place in the Van Buren Township in Michigan. But around 30 train cars went off the tracks and led to a road being closed Thursday morning where the derailment happened. So, I mean, this is literally on the heels of the derailment that took place in Ohio, where I live. Now, granted, I don't live in East Palestine, but it's come out that chemicals did wind up getting into the water, which is obviously not good. It got into like the Ohio River. I don't know why I was gonna say Ohio Valley, Ohio River, which is a big river, runs multiple states. It's a big deal. So, I mean, that immediately made it a big issue. Obviously, we've talked about this before. Like, they had to shoot one of the train cars in the Ohio situation, and literally just you see this huge plume of just chemicals just come out. And, fast forward a little bit, DeWine is, he's visited a couple times. He's saying, hey, on the last one, you guys are good to go back home. You might need to check to see, check levels or wait till levels are checked in your homes, but it's safe to. You should be fine. But some people have gone home. Some people were, staying in shelters now, back in their homes. They're reporting like seeing the fish dying. They're reporting pets dying. They're reporting like irritations of skin, eye irritations has been going on the whole time. Also, I find out a little fun fact: the movie White Noise was filmed in East Palestine, and people were extras that were like from the town. And eerily similar now, there's a whole ass fucking train derailment that's literally happening there. Because I guess that was like the premise of the movie, was just like environmental damage and shit. So, I mean, it's just like this eerily kooky thing that's happening real time, real life. I mean, I gotta say, it's weird that people are going like, oh my god, no one's covering this. Oh my god, what? Like, this crazy is being swept under the rug. It's like, I disagree with that. I kind of bulk back. I balk against that because you can, like, I'm living proof that you can find out about this from literally just doing research. You can learn this by going on these sites and reading what they have to tell you. Now, granted, I will say there are omissions galore, and you do have to do multiple clicks. You do have to put in the work to learn what's going on. And even then, I'm still missing beats. There's no doubt about that. But I do hate seeing that because I feel like people go, well, if my podcaster didn't tell me, if I didn't hear it from a friend, if I didn't hear it from a TikTok, then it didn't happen. Or the government's covering up, and like, yeah, definitely the government is very active in doing suppression, that is for sure, and spin and propaganda. But like, you are also involved in that by just kind of just chilling and not learning. Like, you know what I mean? And just going on Facebook and being weird. I don't like that energy. I do like people who are actively looking into the shit and learning, because this is important, especially if you're a person who lives here, lives in the state. Like, this is very scary times. And I do feel like educating yourself and learning about what's going on and talking about it to the people around you is important, because there are fucked up shit that is, I just hate to be that guy, is kind of getting swept under the rug. Like, in terms of Norfolk Southern, obviously we're seeing this is a pattern. And it's a pattern because they don't really care about keeping these trains safe. They only care about these trains running on time and making their money. So the shareholders make their fucking dough. And they're forcing their money to make sure that happens, instead of making sure that proper brakes that are up to date and up to code, that that you would think should be on these things that are carrying like hazardous materials. Like, whatever, we're just gonna keep them old school. Now, granted, there was a push to change them, I believe, during the Obama administration, but then Trump came in and said, here's some charts and graphs, and we're gonna say that this isn't really worth the time. And naturally, Norfolk Southern's like, you know what? Yeah, we don't want to waste the money. If you're not gonna like fucking make this happen, you're not gonna make us do it, then we won't do it. And essentially, they focus on doing like buybacks and things of that nature. Essentially, things that wind up making money for, once again, shareholders. Now, meanwhile, these trains are running consistently all the time, running through, East Palestine, just all the time. And I'm listening to the people who live there. They're like, overall, we know that, like, we this is a city that came up around this train. Like, we're fine with that. But the problem we have is that now that there's an issue, these people aren't here. Like they nothing's gonna happen. Like they wouldn't show up to any of these town meetings. They essentially said, "Hey, we'll give you like a $250 voucher for your hassle." These people have been in like hotels and shelters for days. They've been out of work for days. Like, what is that gonna do? It does nothing. And they've also offered, I think it's something to the tune of $250,000, which is like, oh, that might sound like a lot of money, but it's like that's supposed to go throughout the whole town. When you just distribute that all out, that doesn't do much of anything. And then you have to also mention that firefighters, first responders, all these people, these are the people who would put themselves on the front line, and who knows what's going to happen to them. Because, like, the way this is reported is that there's 0 deaths. No one's died. And according to, like, the EPA, the data samples and things that they've taken, it's okay. It's fine. It's all right. But once again, let's reference the dead fish and the dying pets. Let's reference the burning eyes. Like, who knows what's going to happen? Also, I haven't really listed any of the chemicals, so I'll at least give a little bit of a run out. Vinyl chloride, butyl acrylate, ethanexyl acrylate, and ethanol glycol monobutyl ether. Those are just a list of the chemicals. I believe that the vinyl chloride is a liquid that is a component that's used to make PVC pipe. I'm not 100% sure there. But I mean, all these chemicals were just in turnover cars. You know what I mean? And in one of these situations where they're trying to like keep this pressurized thing that's gonna go, they need to like force it now. They have to blow it up. And all this shit has happened. Like, this shit is they're now calling it Chernobyl 2.0. So I mean, the shit's scary. It's very unsettling. Like I said, I want to tell you, like, from here we're okay in good old Cincinnati, but I mean, time's gonna tell. Time's gonna tell a tale here. I really hope that people can get as much money as they can out of this fucking company, because it's their fucking negligence that made this happen, as far as I'm goddamn concerned. And the thing is, they are going to get away with it, because let's bring it back to the government. They're doing no regulation. Pete Buttigieg is just like, we're gonna hold the people responsible. But are we? Like, not really. Like, we're gonna hold the quote unquote company responsible. They can take any monetary loss. It's gonna be nothing to them. And when it trickles down to the people who need it the most, it's not gonna be enough. It's not gonna be enough. And that's really fucking sad. It's really fucking frustrating. And like I said, with the Michigan situation, it makes it 2 times. Like, and of course, people are going to conspiratorialize that. They're going to be like, coincidence? Oh, like, that's crazy. Back to back, what are they hiding from? What's going on? Like, it's greed. It's just greed. It's fucking greed and negligence. And, I mean, I would say to a criminal level, but they're probably going to skate away on this one. So there was that. Also this week, 1 person dead after truck crashes into train, causing derailment at US 59 in Splenderella, deputies say. Now, this was a bit of a story I had to go look for. I've heard it in a little bit of passing, listening to podcast stuff. But there was, let's see, Debbie said a truck collided with a train, causing it to derail, and 1 person died. So that was a bit more train news. I don't think there was necessarily chemicals in this one, but yeah, I mean, I'm just seeing more of this kind of shit, and
that rocking chair would look great in our new house.
Oh, a new house, eh? Well, you should definitely see how Geico can help you save on homeowners insurance.
Oh, no.
Nice tip. I'll give you 2.
Okay. Geico just got some free ads there. Let's see. From the Yahoo News, Associated Press. White supremacist gets life in prison for Buffalo massacre. So this is closing out the story. I mean, at least I think I'm closing it out here. of the Tops shooting that took place. Peter Gendron was a white supremacist who was involved there. Sorry, it was in Buffalo, New York. But yeah, 10 black people were murdered. He specifically targeted them. He also live streamed it on Twitch. This is one of those things where it's like, I kind of realized, hey, there's a string of shootings, and eventually you are going to have to cover, I mean, to the best of your ability, like, you know, how the sentencings, how those are going to go. And I say this is the nail in the coffin, but it's not. There are more charges for him at the federal level. But essentially, from here, he's charged with life. And, I mean, I think there are potential death penalties that might be on the table. So, I mean, if that happens from one of the federal ones, then I imagine that's when I would want to bring it up. But you did get to have the final remarks from family and people affected. In one of those situations, a victim's family member wound up like making a physical lunge towards Peyton Gendron, but he was restrained. But yeah, people just really got to speak to him and say what they wanted to say. He also apologized, and he did cry. These kind of apologies, though, I always take with a grain of salt, especially, too, because you have to see with time if these people, quote-unquote, reform. I don't know. And I say that not because I don't believe in people, but I definitely don't believe in this goddamn prison system. So there's that. But in situations like this, it's just hard to tell. It really is hard to tell. I mean, this was a person who literally spent their time online. Like, and even though they're 18, they were 18 when they did this, 19 now. Like, they spent their time just gathering up the hate to do what they wanted, to do this act, to do this calculated act, to say, I'm going to find a neighborhood, I'm going to pick a grocery store that has what I'm deeming the most density to get black people. And then once again, we literally had this conversation, speaking of white supremacists, with the Baltimore situation, with the Transformers. Like, these people are just a dime a dozen. And, I don't know, man. It sucks. I had a little hippie friend, and they had asked me, they asked me, Isaiah, do you think we'll ever live in a time or a world where racism isn't a thing? And I gotta say, you know, we were high, and I started laughing. I just started laughing because, to me, that's crazy to think that. And I'm a person of color, and the situation that person was not. And I just think it's crazy to have that kind of utopian thinking where you think that people just like that don't exist, because they just find a way to be this way, and they find a way to teach it to other people. Like, I don't believe that this Gendron guy just default was just like, oh, I'm gonna be racist. But people lean on that energy for one reason or another, and then they go to a place to get that feeling stoked, or I don't know what the word is, complimented or whatever. They want to have approval in this hate, and they will find it without fail. You can't age it out. Like, that's not the issue. Like, it is an ongoing thing, and you have to constantly combat it. And it is a very tiring thing. It's a very frustrating thing to have these issues over and over and over again, and to be scared over and like day after day. And there's nothing you can do about that in that regard. But I do believe that you just got to do your best to talk about these issues, to really, I don't want to say fight, because I don't know that that's the right word when it's like you're talking to your friends who might not understand where you're coming from. But like, I do try to do that, where it's like, hey, let me have this discussion with you on this issue or that issue, because it is making me uncomfortable, like your views or your thoughts on it. Or just like calling bullshit where you have to call it. Sometimes you got to do that. But yeah, I mean, I think more or less this is the end of it. But like I said, he does have some more federal charges coming, and if there is a pivot to like a death sentence or something like that, then yeah, I'll bring it up again. But Uh, let's see. Moving along to some international news. I got this from The Guardian. Chinese spy balloon may have been blown off intended course. Report. So yeah, okay. If you are not a patron member, you've missed my balloons galore segment, more or less, I guess you could say, where I covered the 3 fucking balloon. Well, let me not say balloons, because we don't know what the fuck they were. They're still not identified to us yet. They haven't exactly told us, but they've essentially said that there was like 3 other devices, apparatuses, that were located, noticed, and shot down, taken down over the weekend. But this isn't about those 3. This is about the OG balloon that was spotted over Montana, shot down in South Carolina. So, there's been more details that have come out about this balloon throughout the week. I believe I heard that it had some kind of technology that was able to pick up like some kind of cell phone reception or things of that nature. Now, I don't have a sourced article for that. But essentially, though, there's a chance, they're saying there's a chance that maybe that I'm getting a little tongue-tied here. Sorry. It's been a long day. But that this balloon might have been a balloon that was blown off course. I think that's at least what America is trying to like meet in the middle at. Because I do feel like we're kind of stuck in a situation here where it's like, hey, we're doing the propaganda. They shouldn't have had this balloon in our airspace, and we shot it down. That's a point blank period thing. Also, another thing I wanted to mention is that we have changed like the NORAD frequency, essentially like the detection system for our air defenses, which I believe we use in not just America, but also like Canada, or at least parts of Canada. So essentially, they've tuned the system a little bit more now since the balloon incident, and that's why they had the balloons getting popped or apparatuses getting popped. Once again, gotta say, those 3 not related to China. At least that's what's being said right now. They're also known as quote unquote benign. But this one, which even though you have the title of like saying like, hey, it might have been blown off course, you still have people calling it a Chinese spy balloon, which I'm like, but I get it because I've been covering this too, and even I have followed the path of this information where I go, okay, so it's not a weather balloon. No way, no how. I know it's possible. I know it's what they said, but clearly it has all this tech on it. It couldn't be. But maybe, maybe it could. Like, I know this sucks because obviously people want you to pick a side. They want you to say, is it this or it's that? But to me, I really feel like you got to say, hey, this might not have been a spy balloon. We literally watched this thing take flight. Like, we now have that information out now where it's like, no, we did track this. Like, we just said that we knew it was coming in since like January 28th, but we've been following this thing. So it's like, then it was blown off course. Like, you've been watching it. What do you mean? But the way it gets angled every time it gets mentioned is like, well, it blew into here and it had all this technology on it. So what's all that about? And not to mention, and then we throw up all the places we're seeing all these balloons. It's even getting mentioned that it's been in Japan. So it's like, we're not alone in being concerned and worrying about this. Also, it's fair that if they aren't getting actual jurisdiction to fly these balloons in the spaces that they're flying in, that's a problem. That is a red flag. So I'm not trying to sit here and be like, oh, let me absolve China. Trust me, I wish I was that deep of a psyop. I wish. But I'm not. I'm just a guy trying to figure it out, just like everybody else. And I don't like the idea of just saying, hey, I'm going to buy everything I'm being sold here, especially if there is a potential other angle here. I feel like it's just better to try to get as much information as you can, right? That being said, I'm not going to say it's not sus. Definitely a bold move, Cotton. And we're seeing how it plays out. Alrighty, I've been going super fast, and also I wish I had the reference of where I got the news on the Texas truck thing. It was a local news thing, but let me see. We're gonna end here on a Turkey Syria earthquake update. Let me just take my break. Okay. From CBS News. Turkey and Syria earthquake rescue efforts wind down as survivors struggle to survive and death toll rises. Let's see. Let's do some scrolling. Actually, let me just pull up. I want to see if I can get an actual current number. I'm not finding it offhand. Oh, they did save a young girl from the earthquake rubble. And I want to say that was a big deal just because it's been I think over 248 hours since the earthquake. Let me just look up a number real quick. Sorry. Turkey. Do this. Oh yes, and also 2 brothers were saved. The last number I have clocked is 42,000, which is obviously an insane number that's going to only keep growing. But the big thing I wanted to pull out here from this is across the border in war-torn Syria, the misery has been compounded by slow-arriving international aid. But there was hope Tuesday morning that the pace might pick up with new routes into the country becoming available. Martin Griffiths, the UN Emergency Relief Coordinator, visited Aleppo on Monday and acknowledged that the rescue efforts were coming to a close, with the focus turning to providing shelter and food for survivors and getting children back into schooling. So, I mean, that's a big development in terms of just opening more routes. Because I've talked about this before, where it's really there's only been one main road, at least in the situation with getting aid to Syria. And also on top of that, the aid that they were getting was already predisposed aid they were already supposed to get. There were people who were upset to get all these diapers and things of that nature. It's you're giving us all these diapers, but our babies are dead, which is just a really sad thing to hear. But the heart of it is it's we need a whole other kind of aid, and you're giving us old aid. We need help. And it was really sad because, I mean, naturally in both situations in Turkey and Syria, it is rough. But to literally hear the responses from people in Syria, they were already so defeated. They're like, look, I already know that I've just been here listening to the person, my family die. They've been screaming. I can hear them. There's nothing I can do. I know they're dead. So I just want to get the body. I just want to get the bodies. I just want to give them a proper burial, and that's across the board. That's also in Turkey. But, also it's people look, I'm not doing anything but getting the things that I need to get. I literally came out here in my pajamas. I need to get my papers. I need to get my ID. I'm just trying to get back to square fucking zero. So, I mean, it's been really sad. Also, a little bit of an update. I don't, once again, have a source for this other than I listened to this on the BBC News today. Sweden's president, I can't remember if it was a president or prime minister or whatever. He came to do some curry favor stuff. Essentially because Turkey's, saying, hey, we're not supporting your bid to come in. And he's given to say, hey, we're gonna give aid. We're trying to show, hey, we're with you guys. And it was appreciated, but it was also stated that this doesn't change anything. We're not changing our support of you guys. Also, I learned a little bit there too. I mean, obviously this episode's going way longer than I've wanted it to, but just learning a little bit more about the whole situations with the Kurdish people and their involvement, with or against Turkey or whatever. That plays a role here in the conversation because they're saying like, hey, you guys aided the Kurdish, rebel forces or whatever. So we don't like that you're doing that. You need to stop that. You need to, switch this up. So, I mean, it's obviously a whole quagmire or what have you, but kind of awkward moment there, I guess, for the Swedish guy. I'm in the weeds here. I shouldn't even brought this up, but I'm trying to give you guys as much news as I can. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I'm a little gopher. I just keep going and finding more news, and I'm like, I just want to tell people about all this news I found. And I try to do my best to get it right. I get the names wrong. I get shit wrong. I do some paraphrasing, and I'm sorry. But I appreciate all the real ones, all the newsies who stick around, who show support. It's been really cool to talk a little bit on the internet, try to get tips and tricks, and getting feedback and things of that nature. It's nice. I appreciate it. You guys are all great. And I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News, if you'd like to support. I do have bonus episodes that I put up every week. I also have a Discord. I will say, though, I really want to try to get the Discord going. I want to try to have something there. So I'm thinking about maybe making that just an everyone thing. Now, granted, you still get the link or whatever for the Patreon. It just kind of gives you quicker access, you could say. But I'm thinking about just making that an everyone thing. But also, you get a newsy status, which is nice, which means you get a shout out every week, or not every week, but once a month. And also with that, you can plug some news to me, or you can do the whole hey, turn me into an ad space. I'm down. Let me be your billboard. So yeah, that's an option. Free ways to hit me up: gmail.com/Isaiah News 1 or Isaiah News 1@gmail.com. Sorry. And I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on the socials. Painfully online, baby. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.